Hi and welcome to today's episode of Lamb and Spinach. Today what I'm going to do is just start by discussing all of the ingredients which are going to go into my lamb and spinach. Obviously I have lamb and this is just I think a shoulder cut, about 465 grams or 450 grams. It's about enough for 2 or 3 people. I have about 100 grams of chopped onion. That's enough. It's about a medium-sized onion, which you just peel, core, and then chop. Comes to around 100 grams. 2 bay leaves, 3 cardamom pods there. Um, Seasoning will be some ground cumin, salt, salt and pepper, some ground coriander. I also have some fresh coriander for garnish, and a little bit of garam masala, which I'm just going to use a little bit of, not too much. And here I have 2 cloves of garlic, about 2.5 cloves of garlic, a centimeter cube of fresh ginger, which I'm going to pound and crush. So let's just get started with the cooking. Okay, I've got a pan just cooking with some oil. You can hear it crackling and popping. What I want to do is I want to fragrance the oil. The best way to do that is to throw in a couple of bay leaves there. See one there, a couple of bay leaves. And I also need to throw in 3 cardamom pods. I believe cardamom comes or originates from Guatemala, which I didn't realize until I read it on the packing. But and we want that to fragrance the oil, right? Now, what we now want to do is using a instrument. Now it's going to fragrance, it's going to cook just for a couple of seconds. I want to add the onions. Right? Onions are going to go in. I'm going to wait for them to turn translucent. Reduce the heat a bit. And you see the coming out. Wait for them to turn translucent, and then I'm going to add the rest of the seasoning. Okay, so I'm going to now add the crushed garlic and ginger. So this is now on a medium heat. The onions have turned translucent. Yeah, and some nice aromas are coming out from the cardamom, the bay leaves, onions, and ginger. So what does this need? It needs a bit of salt, I would say. A pinch of salt. I'm going to start adding some seasoning. I have a quarter bird's eye chili pepper. It's not a lot, and you can add more fresh bird's eye chili pepper if you like. As for a quartering, I am also going to add some yogurt. I don't want this dish to be overpowered by spices. So we're getting a brown, getting wonderful aromas coming out. That's nice. Okay, so we've got that cooking up. What I'm now going to do, you can see it's going to brown there. We want to brown the meats with the flavors. So, brown the meat. Browning the meat can be done in many different ways. Some people like to marinate the meat with a paste of garlic, ginger, spices, and then just kind of throw it in and brown it that way. I'm doing it in a different way. And now I'm beginning to get a sense of all the different aromas coming out. Now, whilst that's browning, this is the perfect time to dress what the other seasonings. So I've got a teaspoon of cumin, which I'm going to throw in, a teaspoon of ground coriander, and a quarter teaspoon of garam masala. Not a lot. It's a very strong spice, and we don't want to overpower the dish, the flavours from the rest. Now I'm going to give this a stir whilst the rest of everything browns. The meat will brown, the onions and the garlic, they will all brown. And you see, look at that, beautiful. Now, whilst it's browns, I'm just going to put another pinch of salt in there. And now, these are wonderful aromas coming out. And remember, when you're cooking, you have to think about a balance between spice and aroma. Traditionally, spices were used to preserve meat. We don't need to use spices in the same way anymore. So we just use them for aroma. So just so you're aware of that. Because what's going to happen at the end, after this is done cooking, I'm going to I'm going to fish out the cardamom and the bay leaves, which I used at the very beginning. Now, let's see, how's this brown? Let's see. I'll put it in a medium to high heat. It's perfect for browning. If I look and I see, does it require much oil? Probably not, but I am going to put a little, about a tablespoon there of oil. A lot more of, I'm going to add some more fat into it later on by using full fat Greek yogurt. So I'm going to come back to this in just a moment once it's finished browning. Right, so that's sufficiently brown. What I now want to do is actually cook the meat for about an hour to get it. It's already a good cut of meat, so it really doesn't need that long anyway, but I'm going to let it kind of cook down to get it really tender. And this meat really only takes about half an hour to get tender because it's quality meat, it's a quality cut. However, what I will do, obviously, whilst it's cooking, I will see how it's doing, so to speak. Now, put in two heaped tablespoons of full-fat Greek yogurt, and that's great for fat, getting a lot of the fat. Now, you'll see, okay, you think, oh my god, it's really fat and unhealthy, there's oil, there's yogurt in it, but yogurt is good fat, you know, within moderation. Animal fat is good fat, they say. You know about the trans fats, it doesn't have the trans fats, etc. Now, I forgot one thing, I think, and that was black pepper. So I'll put this now on a medium heat. I'm just going to lightly dust it with some black pepper there. And what I'm now going to do is cover it and let it cook down for about half an hour. And then I'm going to add 400 grams of fresh spinach, let it wilt and let it cook for about another 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then, I believe, we will be done. That's perfect. The flavors have come out. I can taste the lamb, the bay leaves and the cardamom and the aromatic flavors that are really supporting the lamb. It's fine. So This will come, I'll take the lid off. And I'm using a tagine because that's the best for stewing, especially lamb. It's used traditionally for stewing like harder cuts like mutton, matured lamb, and that takes, that's why you need that. But this only will need about half an hour, and I'll return to it and then I will see how the lamb is doing. It will be tender by then. I might leave it in for another 15 minutes before I add the spinach for about 20 minutes. So back in a moment. Okay, so it's been in for about half an hour on a medium heat, and the flavors are just tremendous. So in terms of tenderness of the meat, it's almost there. That's fine. I do need to stew it a bit, so fresh spinach, 400 grams. So every time you add ingredients to your layers of cooking, don't forget to continue to season. So here I'm just going to add a little bit of salt there, that's enough. Going to turn the heat up. I'm going to let this wilt down. That was around 200 grams. I'm going to put the rest into this large tagine, which is splendid for this dish. And well, we'll see how it turns out. And then it needs, I think, I'm going to put it in for about another 20 minutes, let it all cook down, let the flavors merge, right? And I'm going to keep it on a medium heat to let it stew all together. And I'll see in about half an hour, 20 minutes, how it's doing. Okay, let's see the progress of the spinach. Lovely, it's beginning to wilt. I'm not going to move it around, it's just going to wilt of its own accord, and I'll be back in about 10 minutes, medium to high heat. Okay, just let's see how the spinach is doing. Oh, lovely. That's nice. Lovely and wilted. Now, there's a lot of steam in there, so we need to cook that off a bit. So, beautiful. And that colour of that sauce is how it's going to look. Now, I'm going to put the cover back on. And you might think it's going to steam a lot, but it won't, because it will cook down. Because there is a hole at the top of the tagine, which lets the steam out whilst it's cooking. A little hole there. So another 20 minutes, and then that's good to rest, and then I'll serve it up with some naans later on. So here we are, the finished deal, the real deal. I just let it cook in for another 20 minutes. I had a neighbour call round, so I just took it off the gas. And then what I've done is, you'll see, I fished out the cardamom and the bay leaf. Now I'm still looking for another cardamom pod. You don't want to eat that, obviously, you don't want to serve that. I'm still looking for another bay leaf. Oh, I think I found it. There it is. Probably a good idea to fish them out before I added the actual spinach, which made it difficult to find. But nevertheless, it's important to fish them out, especially the cardamom, because you really do not want to bite into them at all. So that's it. I'm going to serve it. I'm going to make some naan now and then serve it and plate for you. Okay, so I'm ready to plate for you. I finished cooking several hours ago, and I've just taken a fresh naan out of the oven, which I'm now going to butter with some garlic butter. 1 clove of garlic in this little bit of butter here. There. Oh, you see it? No. Salt and pepper. and fresh coriander. Look at that, it's lovely and glazing there. So butter's been sitting at room temperature, right? Uh, Beautiful. Okay, so what I'm going to do is plate for you. Ooh. So you can have this with rice. I prefer naan instead because I find rice takes up too much of the flavor. It's a very it's not it's not heavily spiced. It's really just to do with the aromatics in there. So I'm just gonna fill this bowl, and what you would do is you would just use the naan and your fingers to dip into the spinach. I'm gonna just garnish it very lightly. Okay, with some fresh coriander. So here we are, plate for you. I hope you enjoy that. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Try it out and I hope you enjoy it. Bon appetit. Thank you for watching.